And it looks like the good guru is, is ready to join us. What's up, Terrance?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
And so Jamster said he doesn't remember the university. I'm an assistant. I'm not an assistant anymore. I'm an associate professor
Okay.
at Winston-Salem State University in
Yes.
Winston-Salem, North
Yes.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Um,
The tobacco
and
mecca.
the tobacco maker, yes, as well as textiles. Actually, this
Yeah.
is where the Hanes brand is. Um,
I didn't know
uh,
that actually. Yeah.
yeah, the Hanes brand
Hmm.
started here as I think Krispy Kreme as well. So there's a lot of history
Yum.
in this area. How are you? How are you this morning, though?
I'm good. You got me thinking about donuts now, but
Well, they say it's a breakfast food, right?
yeah. Hmm. Okay, so what's on the agenda for today?
Well, today I think we have a guest from First Federal coming on, and I think we'll start with just some what's happening in the finance world, and then just some discussion surrounding that, and then I guess we'll move into the guest that we have from our sponsor, First Federal. And good morning to everybody there in St. Kitts and Nevis and to the listening audience across wherever you're hearing this from, whether you're logged in online or tuned in via radio. I'm thankful to be here, thankful for a weekend, for the weekend that I had. And sorry about missing last week. I was at a conference in Baltimore, and these things going to happen time to time. The full-time job, the job that keeps the lights on, tends to take precedence, right? And just so will start with some financial news around the world. So over the weekend, some of you might know, if you don't know, we have a potential war brewing. Have you heard about that, Jamster?
Yes.
Uh,
If I mean, if you want to characterize it as not having started already, but yes.
yeah, well, it's been basically ongoing for the last 2 decades, but it was ramped up this weekend, and we've already seen the financial effects of it. Almost, we've seen the human effects of it. Let's start there. Over 1,100 reportedly died already. And then from the financial perspective, we're already seeing markets falling around the globe in terms of stock markets. So we're seeing the impact on uncertainty. And if we remember anything from the other war that is currently happening, the Russia-Ukrainian war, we saw how logistically we, even there in the Caribbean, were impacted by that war. And we had lags in deliveries and shipments, etc. And we were overall impacted as well, right? We see the effects that had on prices, had on oil prices, etc. And this will be no different. We're going to probably start to see some effects there. So it's really, they say people that are in finance are sociopaths. I don't know if you ever heard that, Jamster, but the positive, if you could think of a positive that might come from this, is there's an opportunity for the investors amongst us that could take some positions in defense stocks from like Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and the like, and mainly because usually in times of crisis, and especially with Israel and the U.S. being like the godfather to Israel, basically, you're gonna already seeing the U.S. military mobilizing and sending ships into that area and have already positioned some military equipment, right? So we're gonna see some increases there. So that's interesting, and more will come of that. So we just have to be mindful and see what is happening, right? What else is in the news? Oil prices, something we'll feel at the pump in St. Kitts and Nevis, and we're seeing an increase in oil prices. They went up over the weekend, closing almost $100 a barrel, which has been the highest since November 2022. So we're seeing that increase. We see a month to month, year over year increase in inflation as well. So that means, what does that mean for us in St. Kitts? And this is inflation in the United States. Again, we're pegged, and because we're pegged, you're going to get some impact there. And by pegged, I mean we have a fixed currency, right? Oh, one US dollar, 2.7 or 2.7169, depending on who you're talking to. And the impact there will be possibly higher inflation in our local markets as well. So something to be mindful of that's coming. And with the holiday season coming up, that's when we tend to spend a lot. So everything will be a little bit more expensive for us. So just to be mindful of that.
Yes, I
Yes.
did notice a comparative graph that CNN had yesterday, which showed that uh, wages was slightly outpacing inflation, which I thought was good. I think by about 3 or so percent, which I thought was kind of heartening to see.
Wages? Whose wages?
Well, I guess maybe the whatever average, I guess whatever average they were using.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I have
yeah.
maybe, I
Yeah, I
think,
saw that yesterday. They were saying that was the silver lining to, some of the you could say the upheaval in the financial markets and so on. In that
okay.
the graph
Well, that's
showed,
interesting.
yeah, the graph showed inflation. So at the end of the graph on the right hand side, it sort of looked like the breast cancer ribbon. The forked tongue thing you see
Hmm.
where I don't know if that I don't know if that imagery is working, but the inflation was going down and the wages were going the opposite direction, which I always think that sometimes these indicators are maybe overly simplistic, but I don't know.
Well,
You
they
t-
definitely adjust and they're restrictive at a minimum. But I did do a quick Google search and what I saw, you're right, absolutely. As of the second. Okay, they're saying here pay is beginning to catch up in the race, and since May has been rising faster than inflation after losing ground for more than 2 years. And I think with these types of reports, we take them at the moment, the snapshot in time, because if you were to look over a longer period, that's definitely not the case. But we have seen that in some states, they've taken some, at least in the US, they've taken some strong positions on increasing and moving to a livable wage and away from a minimum wage. And that's had some positive effects, mainly in the Western states, the more expensive to live states, to be honest. And you've seen a lot of strikes around the country as well. Again, in the manufacturing sector, you even seen strikes in the Waffle House, right? The Waffle House is almost like a part of pop culture and the implications there. But what I want people in St. Kitts and Nevis and the wider Caribbean to understand is that the things that happen in the US will obviously affect us because as inflation continues to rise, this is good if we hear positive wage data coming out because we have our main industries, throughout the reason, revolve around tourism. The more money in people's pockets is the increased ability for individuals to come and do what? Spend money in our local economy through trips and stuff like that. And automatically already we have some aggressive promotions for tourism to get people to our shores. But I don't know if you heard this, Jamster, and we're switching more local now. Um, that we're anticipating up to 70 less calls this tourist season as opposed to let's say pre-COVID. I don't know what the data is, but I read that somewhere on social media this weekend. Have we heard anything about that at all? That our cruise ship calls might be reduced
yes,
this year?
it seems to have something to do with the fact that San Juan is no longer a home port or something. I'm
Oh, for
not
one
sure.
ships, okay.
Yes, yes. And apparently, it's also tied to the fact that apparently the cruise lines are undertaking some policies to reduce fuel use. So it means that they're making less stops and they're steaming slower.
Hmm,
So they're
interesting.
yeah
More
to
sea days. That sounds like
yeah
more sea days.
yeah
Yeah. And yeah, that's interesting because sea days is when people are going to use the resources of the ships more. But, the thing is the impact on our local tourism product, where our government has, in St. Kitts, have really put a lot of money into cruise tourism over the years. That's been our main point of promotion, right? And I've always happy to have it, but I haven't been somebody that's been on a few cruises myself. We know when you disembark, you seldomly spend. at least not at the rate as the over tourists. So maybe this might lead to a policy shift, right? Where we start to get more airlift. We have JetBlue starting in November, which is great. We see the expansion of the what's it, Inter-Caribbean, I think it's called. I don't know.
Yes, and Caribbean Airlines just announced that they're going to be leasing 12 more aircraft
Well, that's good.
to meet
Hopefully they
demand,
start to
and I think that has
self.
something to do with the I hope death of Liat.
Well, I really hope we just see the positive of it, right? In that we start to really go towards what brings the most money into the economy, which would be stay over tourism. And it's Financial Information Month in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union countries. I think this year the theme is focus more on wealth creation, which I love to hear. And I think it's specifically wealth creation for financial resilience, and that's the 2023 theme. And I did so many Google searches, called some people that work at the bank. I haven't heard of any activities in St. Kitts yet, but I'm assuming that that will include, radio show visits, maybe a couple in-person workshops and trainings and all of that. But the question then becomes, is that enough, right? And it's really interesting because we're going to lead into the segue with our sponsor and our guest this morning. Um,
Yes, we've got
and
Marvelyn Emmanuel here from First Federal, our sponsor for Money Matters. Morning,
yes,
Marvelyn.
and
Good morning.
how are you, Marvin?
I'm good. And
And
how are you, Terrance?
I'm good. I'm good. And we're gonna segue to you just a minute, but I want to jumpstart just real quickly to because this is going to be a good lead in Madeline, because you see the topic is wealth creation, right, for financial resilience, right? So I want you to ponder on that topic just a little bit. And I want to read some of the report that came out on our resilience when it comes to financial education in the region. I don't know if many remembers that the ECCB, they commissioned the Financial Literacy Survey, and they said that that survey revealed significant financial knowledge gaps in the ECCU. When I was discussing this with a friend of mine, she was like, duh, how are we supposed to learn it? Who taught us? Right. And that makes a lot of sense. Right. We're not going to go into that aspect today. That's another show. It was launched in August 2022 and revealed that residents of the ECCU do not have an adequate understanding of the most effective ways to save, budget, invest, or borrow money. There's not a lot of investments in the region, so we could literally just focus more on the borrowing money aspect of it and maybe the saving and the budgeting. The survey findings reveal a fundamental lack of knowledge regarding saving, budgeting, investing, and borrowing among ECCU residents. And that's why they feel that they're finding some association that we fall for so many scams in the region and engage in higher interest, higher purchases, and succumb to the pitfalls of payday loans, right? And again, that's a whole other conversation, because I believe payday loan companies fill an obvious gap that the commercial banks and alike are not tuning into. Now, the survey was done around 7,000 participants throughout the ECCU, and 61% of them were found to have a basic level of understanding of finance and the use of financial practices. Anguilla is the most financially literate member of the ECCU, while St. Vincent ranked the lowest. I cannot wait to see the full report because it's urgent. It's something of urgency, right? Personal financial management practices like budgeting and investing seem to be on the decline, with more individuals opting to buy what they desire, relying on family, friends, and government assistance for their basic needs. And those who invested in the regional international capital markets make up only 1 in 25 persons, so 4%. That's why I said earlier, investing is kind of dismal. and so on. So look, next show we'll dive more into this report and dissect it and probably figure out some potential solutions. But it's a really good conversation, a way to set the course, because with a theme like what is being put forward by for this year's Financial Information Month, or the FIM Festival, I think it's called, wealth creation for financial resilience. I want to turn to our guest now, Ms. Emmanuel from First Federal. First, let me introduce yourself. Tell the people about yourself, who you are, how long you've been with the institution, and so on.
Okay. My name is Marvelyn Emmanuel. I'm the credit manager at First Federal Credit Union. I've been with the credit union for February 2022. But I have a total of 18 years, a little over 18 years in the banking and finance. I previously
Nice.
worked with RBC.
Okay. So you're a veteran to this thing. What do you think about the theme of this year's Financial Information Month?
I think it's much needed at this time. We're on the recovery from COVID. It's a little hard to believe that COVID was almost 4 years ago, 2020, but we're still recovering. And what COVID reminded of us was just how unpredictable the financial world can become, because so many people suffered from drastic decreases in income, and there are so many others who have since not recovered from since the COVID pandemic who are still unemployed. So this film is to see and to help how could we more or less educate persons. Too many persons are borrowing and not thinking of the future. They're just lending for the need at that time and don't consider how it would affect their future and just their future financial standing. And it may not even be a need, it may be a want, but they let that
Yeah.
want triumph over everything and just do some fast lending because that's what they want at that time. So educating persons in our society will help them realize budgeting is necessary. Putting
Yeah.
our needs before our wants is necessary. Putting your wants on hold is necessary because you never know when something may occur.
You're absolutely right. And take it back to the basics, right? Wants versus needs. And that's literally what some of this might come down to, is that we have a society right now that is very much pro instant gratification. And in some cases that could be legitimate and that could be understandable, right? And we just had this influx of cash, like the report pointed towards the dependency on government assistance. We saw the excitement around the $1,000 injection for independence, the reset. And I would love to see a soft survey of how that money was spent, right? And if some of that was put up for a rainy day, because that was a big challenge. When we have the major employer, to your point, Ms. Emmanuel and Madeline, that so many people are unemployed, a lot of them were actually in the hospitality industry, right?
Yes.
And some manufacturing industries. We've lost some manufacturing jobs in St. Kitts. And we've seen a lot of people now go into monetization of hobbies and starting their own small businesses, etc. And we'll get more back into that. But I want to tell you, because Jamsa asked this question a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if it was in our private conversations or on air, but you're at First Federal Credit Union, and how do you, in your opinion, your words, how does a credit union differ from a bank, right? Because here we hear of a lack of financial knowledge. There's this knowledge gap, right? And there's one of the areas is saving and borrowing. So that's your space. Do you think there's a good understanding of the differences between credit unions and banks?
I don't think there's a good understanding. Credit unions differ from banks in terms of they are owned by the members we serve. So they purchase shares and we own them. The profit earned by credit unions is helped to provide higher interest rates on savings, lower fees or no fees at all, while also paying you back dividends on your shares that you hold. So you own the piece of the credit union, you own the company, whereas a bank works straight for profitability. The members of the credit unions are the ones who vote for the members of the board, so they help with the decision making as well. So a lot of persons don't understand how being part of the credit union help them in the financial world. We provide as much as possible. We provide financial advice for our members. We try to hold workshops when we can. We take the opportunity at any point in time to just meet with our members and just provide that financial advice. If you want to come in just to speak to us, you don't coming in to borrow, just coming in simply to set a budget, we'll sit down and do that with you.
That's incredible. That's it. So you're a partner, right? You're a partner with your members.
Yes, we're all members, staff, everyone a member of the credit union.
I just realized, on Terrance, I just realized on last week that there is a kind of weird third category. It's not a bank, and it's not a credit union. I'm talking about what we used to call FinCo, TDC Financial Services. How does that figure into the, let's call it the financial taxonomy?
Are they more like, I think I would consider them what in the US used to call like a savings bank, right? Because they do still offer some sort of depository structure.
Yes,
I don't know if Maveline have a different mindset.
No, yes,
but they
you're
also
right.
lend. Yeah, so they're more like a savings bank of sorts, right? But even TDC is trying to ramp up their offerings now, especially on what they are classifying as investment space, right? I love their product for kids, right? I remember Royal Bank, Ms. Emmanuel said you were with RBC. I had a junior savers or something account at Royal that I
Yeah,
was
it
so
was junior
excited about.
savings account.
Yeah. So, that would be incredible. So, watch, First Federal has come onto the scene. They're everywhere. The color scheme, the marketing, the branding. Tell us a little bit more about the types of products that you're offering. And I know you're the credit manager, so you could speak for sure towards your credit products and some of the terms that you would offer, because right now everybody is abuzz with housing, right? We had NHC saying they're coming on stream with this housing program and what that means. And I'm not sure if you guys as a credit union have been engaged to be part of that lending or a lender, but what types of credit products do you have that you think can assist your members in wealth creation, right?
So let me first start off by saying we do have a young savers account as well, which is a youth account.
Nice.
That's for persons 16 and below. You can open the account with as little as $5. So we encourage parents to open accounts for their children, and so much so after the children become a certain age, they themselves can come in and make the deposits on their own. They wouldn't necessarily need their parents to come with them. This account is open up to age 16.
Okay, good. That's really good. Do you know what the interest rate is on that off the top of your head?
I don't know. I believe it's 2.75, but I can confirm. Another attractive savings product we have is the multiplier. It has an interest rate of 3.5%. The credit unions are in a position, like we said, we give back the profits to our members. This allows us to grant higher interest rates on our savings accounts. So most of the banks, their rates might be 2%. Our rates are much higher than that. We have a multiplier account, which is an account where you put as little as $100 per month. That offers a 3.5% interest rate, and the interest is paid on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Our term deposits, one of our term deposits, offers an interest rate of 4.5%.
That's nice.
Yes, it's one of the best rates on the market. When you move to credit, we offer, I would say, almost all the products that the banks offer, whether it's consumer loans, debt consolidation, land loans, vehicle loans, mortgages. I can't think off my head a credit product that we don't offer. Right now, most of our services are in line with that of the bank. The only service we're not able to offer right now is wire transfers. As you understand, because we're not a bank, you have to be a bank in order to be able to do wire transfers. But other than that, we offer all the other products that the banks offer. So like you said, mortgages, land loans, vehicle loans, travel, personal loans for any purpose.
People have often said, I remember doing a radio show in Antigua a few years ago, and one of the questions I was asked was, "Hey, Terrance, why is it that it's easier for you to get a loan for a car than it is for you to get a loan to, say, start a business? Do you guys have a product for some of the budding entrepreneurs in the market? Because, hey, as we said, coming out of COVID, a lot of people have repositioned, they're going into small businesses and entrepreneurship. Do you have a product for that?"
I'm happy you brought that up, Terrence. One of our new products is a business builder account. We have recognized that COVID brought about lots of creativity from persons,
Hmm.
especially working virtually. So a lot of persons started off their own business, and we understand that because as a credit union, we don't want to focus only on the employed. We want to assist the unemployed as well. So we do have a business builder account, which comes with a pre-approved either line of credit or a credit card to assist this or jumpstart new businesses.
Wow. Wow. That's
So
incredible.
it's pre-approved up to 30,000. I mean, if you need more than that, we consider it on a case-by-case basis. We look
Hmm.
at your business plan, but the pre-approval is up to 30,000 just to assist small businesses, young persons out there who have the
Hmm.
business mind, who have the ideas, but just doesn't have the cash flow to get off the ground.
And to get access to a product like that, they just need to be members, right?
Yeah, so they just join, they open a business account, they bring in their business license, open the account. We have a
Nice.
conversation with you on your type of business, your
Hmm.
vision, your projections for the future, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 for that account.
What's the interest rate on something like that, you think?
The
Because of
bi-
the risk involved, right? A lot of small businesses may not make it. And are there any other technical assistance that comes after the loan is actually made or the line of credit is issued?
yeah,
Because that's
after,
a big deal.
yes, after the line of credit is issued, we remain in contact with our members. We provide any assistance that we can. If we need to visit their property, if they need advice, if we would
Hmm.
recommend some accountants to help them move
With the
forward because
bookkeeping and stuff.
yes, because we've identified that they may have the idea, but in terms of keeping track of the records, that's a major problem on island. Persons make the
Hmm.
money, but they have no records to show how much they made in profits. They're just working from day to day. So I actually have an accountant on hand who has helped out a few of our members free of charge.
Oh wow. And I myself have given tons of free advice to small businesses and country. And one of the areas I see outside of obviously the record keeping, you're absolutely correct, is pricing, right? The pricing strategy, right? We oftentimes go into very homogeneous markets, right? And the only thing we could truly compete is on price.
Yes.
And we see people just, okay, well, this person sell it for $100, I'm going to sell it for 100 as well. And there's some psychology behind pricing, and knowing your numbers, right? Especially a lot of our entrepreneurs have gone into food, right? So I guess I want to stay a little bit more on this business product that you might have, that you have, not might have, you have it, and ask, are there any specific products or businesses, maybe those that have more collateral? Because you have to protect the bank, right? You have to protect the bank and its members. You focus more on services or businesses that are more product and collateral heavy? Or what's that approach that you guys are taking to protect your own membership? Because at the end of the day, you have to shore up your shareholders as well. Well, they will obviously be shareholders if they have a loan, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
The business builder is not restricted to any industry or type of business, but like I said, it's based on the conversation and just the networking with the member. Because you may have someone who just got off the street and decide today, oh, I want to sell T-shirts, but
Mhm.
what's your plan? What's your
Okay.
direction? So based on and like I said, although there's a pre-approved line of credit, two persons may come in for the business builder and one might walk out with more money than the other. So it's all based on the conversation, like you said, if there is any collateral. But we don't restrict it to any particular service or type of product.
That's incredible because to get in most of the developed world, to get a business line of credit or a business loan in general, it usually has to be tied to some sort of collateral because of the innate risk involved in starting businesses. So the
Yes.
fact that First Federal is offering this product, I want people in the listening audience to understand this is a very big deal, and to definitely reach out to Madeline and the staff there at First Federal and learn more because again, so many small businesses have been popping up. And just to preface this, we have a lot of people that have monetized hobbies that are not yet business. To be a business comes with leverage, and this is an access to that leverage. So no longer do we have the excuse of it's easier to get a car loan than a business loan. Here you have a financial institution in First Federal that is putting a product like that forward. So that's incredible, Madeline. I mean, you guys are doing an incredible job, obviously. So, hey, there's a mortgage war going
Yes.
on in St. Kitts and Nevis, right?
Yes,
We've
there
seen
is.
there's a mortgage war going on. The big banks pulling out the big guns, and we've seen unprecedented low rates from 2.99 on switch programs to whatever else now. And, I want you to tell the listening public a little bit more about your loans that are mortgages or land loans, right? And the reason is, again, under the theme of Financial Information Month or Film Festival, whatever they're calling it, or ECCV, the whole thing is about wealth creation. And the home, for the majority of our households in the region, the home represents the largest asset. Now, can we call it an investment asset? Maybe not, because the majority of people do not sell their home, but it is the largest chunk of wealth creation. So what type of products, tell me a little bit more about the mortgages. Give me specifics that you can get to in ways in which you could meet that demand. And how are you guys positioned in these mortgage wars that we see happening in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Let me start off by saying that we have a land loan promotion ongoing right now. We offer an interest rate of 7%, which is low for the land loan market. 100% financing, which means you would not have to
Okay,
put down a deposit, and up to
nice.
15 years to repay depending on the amount of the land. So you can walk in with $0 and be able to walk out with a piece of the rock, right?
Wow.
Now, when it comes to mortgages, as you understand, we offer high interest rates on our savings. So we can't quite yet jump into the war of some of the lowest unprecedented rates that some of our competitors are offering. But we do, in fact, can offer a low rate to our members. And a lot of persons who are coming in, you could quite understand that they may have other debts as well. So we're able to consolidate these debts with their mortgages, depending on the amount of the loan,
Okay.
and if they would like to, which would help the member qualify for the purchase of that property while moving forward with that investment with as little debt as possible. So we're there. We give mortgages. We give up to 30 years to repay, up to age of retirement, whatever your age that
Okay.
your employer allows you retire. We do our mortgages up to that term. But our interest rates are attractive. We are part of the NHC Smart Homes Initiative. So when a
Okay.
member goes online, they could select First Federal and come in to get the pre-approval, just like any other financial institution.
That's really good. So basically, if retirement age is just so we could understand the terms of retirement age is 65, 65 minus your age, that would give you the term of your mortgage, right? So for example, I'm 39, I would get like 26 years, right,
Yes,
to pay
yes.
that mortgage, so not 30.
No.
And the interest rate, though, not as competitive in the short term, because remember, some of these products that are now out, they're not necessarily long term.
They're not
They're not
long term.
fixed. They're not fixed
They're not
interest
fixed.
rates,
They're
right?
subject to
And
change.
they're subject to change.
But our rates are fixed.
I see, and that's incredible because a variable mortgage in a higher interest rate environment is usually not the best outcome.
Yes.
So having a fixed mortgage and be able to plan over decades that this is what my payment is, regardless of what happens in the economy. We know interest rates won't go down. Not anytime soon. They're unprecedentedly low after coming out of the 2008 financial recession. And so we anticipate having the ability to lock that rate and know what you're getting. I view that as a plus,
I
right?
view it as a plus as well. Like you said,
Do,
mortgages are long-term loans, and a
mhm,
mortgage is not something you wake up today and say tomorrow I want a mortgage. It's something you have to plan for. That's the advice we
mhm.
give to our members. You need to sit on a plan. How is this mortgage going to affect my other financial goals for the future, whether it's education loan for my children or something simple as vacation. So knowing that your monthly payment would not change in the future is a plus.
It definitely helps to plan. I mean, and it helps you to forecast, right? And if you're able to know with certainty if there's a dynamic change in your life, for example, let's say you got the mortgage you were married and then divorce happened or premature death happened or you had a child, you already know what this is, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have that uncertainty. What's the max loan that you could get for the
With
mortgage? What's the highest amount that the credit union offers?
So we don't have a max for now. It all depends on how much you qualify for based on your income. So
Okay.
on a case by case basis, we let you know whether
Okay.
or not we can offer, but we don't. For now, no, there's no cap.
And do you make a distinction between residential and commercial? And here's the reason why I asked. Let's go back to COVID for a little bit. What we found, this is my opinion, this is my opinion, this is my opinion. We have an overbuilt housing market, meaning people took a lot more house than their income supported under the guise of having rental income to make up the difference. Well, the students were the market for that. And then we saw COVID where many left and didn't come back, or they've come back, but not in this type of manner in which they were, right? So you see, like rent is ridiculously high in St. Kitts and Nevis, far outpassing wages. And if we were to use the definition of poverty just based on the housing prices, most people would possibly be considered poor, right? So does the credit union, sorry, make the distinction between a commercial entity, a more like an investment property, and a more primary residence mortgage? Do you make that distinction? Do you
Yes,
have
we do.
some sort of conditions for which one would qualify? For example, some banks say the owner has to occupy 50% of the dwelling.
For it to be considered a residential mortgage, you mean?
Hello?
Are you hearing me?
You hearing us, Terrance?
You hearing us?
Hello?
Well, we're hearing you loud and clear. I'm hearing you loud and clear, Terrance. I don't know. Maybe a drop out with. Hello.
Hello?
Okay, I don't know what happened. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Let's take a quick break. And we hear from First Federal, and we come back. It's probably just a Zoom glitch.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Are you getting a share of the profits from your bank? Kimberly is. Every year, First Federal returns a share of its profits to members like Kimberly. Nice, right? As a credit union, our members are the owners. They own the place. Kimberly reaps rewards every year because she purchased permanent shares and is well on her way to creating wealth. So what are you waiting for? Be like Kimberly. Get your share of the profits. The more you purchase, the more you earn. At First Federal, we say yes to creating wealth.
Marvelyn, are you there?
And Money Matters, it's 10:43. Money Matters brought to you by First Federal. And we so happen to have a First Federal official here. Her name is Marvelyn Emmanuel. And we were having some issues earlier with the doctor. Doc, you hearing us? You hearing us, Doc? Wow, I don't know. Okay, let's, maybe I should just refresh Zoom. I don't know what's going on here. Let's see if we can get this going again. We probably had Zoom dropping out. Okay. It seems like we're still having some issues. So, Marvin, I don't know if there's anything you might want to tell the tell listeners about First Federal and the stuff you were talking about. I'm gonna try and get him back. I'm seeing him, but
Okay.
he's not hearing us. So go ahead in the meantime. I'm gonna try and sort this out.
I believe his question was the distinction between residential and commercial mortgages. Yes, there is a distinction between residential and commercial mortgages, as commercial mortgages are seen as investment property purchase. So there is notably a slightly higher interest rate for commercial mortgages, and the documentation requirement and the approval process would be different than that of somebody who's just purchasing a home for them and their family to live. Like you would have mentioned, Terrance, rental income, most financial institutions just take into consideration only 50% of rental income for commercial mortgages, because we do understand that your tenant might not stay in forever, and there are instances where your mortgage still has to be paid and you may not have a tenant in all your apartments at the moment. So taking into consideration only 50% of the mortgage income, as long as you qualify under that amount, there really shouldn't be any issues when having to pay your mortgage monthly in circumstances where you may not have all your tenants in the apartment at one time. You got him back on yet?
Okay, Marvin. Yeah. So go ahead. You might have to end up repeating that. He's gonna be he's logging out and coming back in. I don't know. I don't understand why. Okay. So let's.
He's back
see.
in now.
Let's see if this works. Okay. Okay, folks, if you're joining us, 1046, it's Money Matters. Doc, you hearing us?
Oh, I'm hearing you now.
You
I was
hearing
like,
us?
hey, I lost you guys.
He's still not hearing us?
I'm hearing you now,
It
Marvin.
might
I'm
be
sure you gave such an
consistencies, because
amazing
sometimes you
answer.
see the person talking and not hearing us, Terrance?
I am.
Oh, boy. Technology. Okay. So go ahead talking. I'm sure, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff you need your listeners to know about First Federal. While I try to get him back, I don't know what's going on here. Terrance, if you can log out and log in again, because I'm not hearing anything. So maybe you want to try doing that again. I don't even know if he's hearing me.
Okay, just to urge our listeners to visit our First Federal branches. We have 3 branches on Island. We have one in Bladen, one on Central Street opposite BCA, and our 3rd branch is in Nevis. Lots of persons are not aware that we have a branch in Nevis, but yes, we do have a branch in Nevis on Chapel Street. So just to urge our listeners to take some time, come into the branch, speak to the staff. We have the best customer service on Island, if I do say so myself. If you just want to walk in to ask the questions, our doors are always open. You call, doors are always open. We offer all the credit products that the banks offer. We have mortgage loans, vehicle loans, whether it's new or used vehicle. I will mention we have an attractive used vehicle product. It's a good to go vehicle loan. And with this vehicle loan, it's for used vehicle up to 8 years of age, whether you purchase it on Island or if it's something you want to order online. And as long as the vehicle is 8 years or younger, we offer 100% financing on that vehicle loan. We can also include the vehicle insurance, the bill of sale costs, and you would also get $300 worth of gas vouchers. So you'll be on the road with your gas under First Federal. Our personal loans have attractive interest rates, and the personal loans are for any reasons. We offer education loans as well. Most persons don't know that we offer education loans. Our education loans are for both online or if you want to go to school full time. So whether it's a small course that you want to do, or if you're looking to pursue your degree, your bachelor's degree, master's, doctorate, whatever it is, that we offer interest only education loans where you pay the interest, where your guarantor pays the interest while you're at school, and upon your return, you would start making your payments. So we're able to offer these education loans as well. So we're not limited to any loans that the banks can offer that we cannot offer. First Federal is there. We're wide open, ready to assist you with any financial need. Just feel free to walk into any of our branches.
Okay, so that's Marvin Emmanuel from First Federal.
Yeah.
I think it's good that you what you just informed us about concerning vehicle loans, because I had a friend of mine raise a very, very interesting point with me. He always thought that financial institutions they seem to be he finds that the policies regarding vehicle loans are very, very illogical, because he said if you buy a vehicle, he said you can buy a vehicle that's 10 years old and the vehicle is in amazing condition, yet they have this knee-jerk thing that says, oh, we're not giving you a loan for anything over 5 years, regardless of the condition of the vehicle, which he said he found to not make any sense. And he said he's told them that on many occasions. So
we have different vehicle products based on the age of the vehicle. We have a new vehicle product. We have the one I just mentioned earlier for vehicles 8 years or younger. And then we have another product for vehicles over 8 years. So we do understand not everyone can afford to purchase, these big vehicles on VAT day, or even a slightly owned vehicle. And there is a need, persons need their vehicle to get to and from work, pick up their families. So we don't limit it to only vehicles younger than 5 years.
Okay. So Marvin, I'm trying to get him to log out and log in again to see if that helps. I really don't know what's going on over here. So I'm trying this again. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna try and admit him again. Okay, so the good doctor, hopefully Terrance, you hearing me?
I'm hearing you.
Oh,
Are you hearing
good.
me?
Yes,
We're hearing you now.
Yeah, we're hearing you. Yeah.
I feel like I missed out on such an amazing conversation.
You did. Marvel, do you want to maybe just go over some of this stuff?
Firstly, I spoke on the difference between residential and commercial mortgages.
Okay.
The residential mortgages offer a lower rate, a slightly lower rate than commercial mortgages, because as you rightly mentioned, commercial mortgages are normally seen as investments, homes purchased as investment property. So the approval process for residential mortgages is different from that of commercial mortgages, and the interest rates are vary as well. But with commercial properties, where we use rental income to adjudicate or decide whether or not the loan is approved, most of the financial institutions only use 50% of the rental income. So do we, because we do understand that it's not at all times all your units might have tenants. So
Exactly.
we still want to know that if all your units are not occupied, you can still comfortably make your payments on a monthly basis.
All right. And I'm sorry, Mister. I apologize for any technical difficulties to the listening audience. So that's great. That's really great information, especially with the backdrop of everything that's going on. You have to actually be a little bit more conservative. I would ask you a question to wrap up, since we almost run out of time. Well, actually, no. We'll save that for the next time you come on. Hopefully you come on. But
Sure.
look, you've heard it here. First Federal Credit Union, the sponsor for Money Matters here on WIN FM, and all the amazing products that they have. from business loans to mortgage loans and all those incredible things. So, Ms. Emmanuel, any final words for the listening audience?
Well, I did say it, but I'll
You did
repeat.
it already?
Repeat it for you, Terrance. I'm urging everyone to come and visit First Federal. Like I mentioned, we have 3 branches: one in Bladen, one on Central Street opposite BCA, and another branch in Nevis. Let's not forget Nevis. Nevis is fully open for business like any other branch. You can just come in and ask a question. Our doors are open. Our member services officers are always willing to answer any credit questions or any questions you may pose. You don't necessarily have to come in to apply for a loan, just to get the information, and we're there. So just come in, visit First Federal. Our doors are always open.
Sounds
That's
good.
incredible. That sounds really good.
Okay.
I mean, First Federal definitely has made their mark in the financial services space here in the country. So it's really good to hear about all the amazing things that you guys are offering to your customers, and being, as you rightfully said, your members are your shareholders. So your
Yes.
responsibility are to them, and that's their advantage. That's what
We
people
serve
need
the
to look at.
members. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, in my own experience, I always tell people my go-to is a credit union. My go-to is a credit union because of the relationship. And I could tell you, I work with Miss Manuel personally. So I could account for her customer service and her openness and willingness. So I think that's the type of service you'll get at First Federal in general. The people I know that work there are really incredible people. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on.
And we'll
And
coordinate
I'm
your
open
next
to visit
visit.
anytime again.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Awesome.
So Terrance, it's time for me to kick you off now. I'll let you wrap
That's
up
fine.
before I kick you off.
That's cool. Well,
We have
hey,
voices.
this is
I have to. Apparently, I'm hosting voices today. So.
Oh, you're hosting. I'm gonna
Voices,
log in
yeah.
to hear what you do. So hey, look, just to wrap up, remember it's Financial Information Month with the topic focus on wealth creation. We just heard from First Federal, and real estate is still the easiest way to build wealth, and that's not just in St. Kitts and Nevis, that's around the world. So seeing how you could tap into that, not just in the residential space, but they have commercial products, and commercial products not only for construction in terms of buildings and investment property, but commercial products as a business line of credit. And I have to tell you, that is a very big deal. It takes financial knowledge to know that you're making financial mistakes. So get this knowledge by tuning into Money Matters and participate in any of the activities for my Financial Information Month. All right. I'm Dr. Terrance Martin. And again, we apologize for technical difficulties. So that's what happened when you're trying to do greatness, streaming from the United States and linking within St. Kitts, and things happen like that all the time. So I'll catch you guys next week for another edition of Money Matters.
Next
And
week,
Jamster,
Monday.
have a really good voices show.
Yeah, and I look forward to Money Matters next week, Monday. This is always fun.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Have a great day. Okay, so that's Money Matters brought to you by First Federal. We will join Dr. Terrance Martin next Monday for another go around brought to you by First Federal. Let's get a quick word from First Federal, and we got voices coming up next.
Are you getting a share of the profits from your bank? Kimberly is. Every year, First Federal returns a share of its profits to members like Kimberly. Nice, right? As a credit union, our members are the owners. They own the place. Kimberly reaps rewards every year because she purchased permanent shares and is well on her way to creating wealth. So what are you waiting for? Be like Kimberly. Get your share of the profits. The more you purchase, the more you earn. At First Federal, we say yes to creating wealth.
Everybody beware, you better prepare. Disaster can happen anytime, anywhere. Everybody beware, you better prepare. Disaster can happen anytime, anywhere.
How do I prepare a disaster plan? Step 1. Learn as much as you can. The first step is research. Do not wait until a disaster is coming to find important information. This step is incredibly important for your plan. Here are some things you should find out. What hazards are you exposed to? Do you live near the ocean or any rivers? Are you near to a volcano? The type of hazard you're exposed to will determine the way you prepare yourself. Find out about disaster plans at your child's school and at your workplace. Are there persons with disabilities in your family? Do you know how to help them? What about your pets? Do you have a plan for them? For more information, visit nema.kn or log on to NEMA SKN on Facebook.
Everybody beware, you better prepare. Disaster can happen anytime, anywhere. Everybody beware.
Are you getting a share of the profits from your bank? Kimberly is. Every year,